And one of the things, Sidi Ali al-Jamal, not the Egyptian, but the famous Moroccan, he said, he has a book called The Meaning of Man, Ma'na al-Insan. And he said in that book, and he actually, I think he took it from Ibn Ata'illah's Hikam, because in the Hikam of Ibn Ata'illah, he says that al-ibarat quds al-mustami'in, that words are the sustenance of the listeners. So he says in his book that words are to the soul what food is to the body. That the meaning that you live on is what nurtures your soul, just like the food that you eat nurtures your body. So if you're listening to garbage all day long, if you're listening to rap lyrics with foulness in it, if you're watching the news and all these horrors are unfolding before you, that's all ghidha, that's all nourishment for your soul. But like junk food will destroy your body, junk meaning will destroy your soul. And this is where we're at. People are really sick. And you wonder why. It's amazing we're doing as well as we are, to be honest with you. As far as I'm concerned, like I told people, people think the Muslims are violent. With what you have done to this community in the last 500 years, it's a miracle how peaceful the Muslims are. It's a miracle. Just study the history. What's happened in our lifetime? Just in our lifetime. Afghanistan, over 1 million dead. Iraq, over 1 million dead. Yemen, tens of thousands. Syria, tens of thousands. Libya, tens of thousands. This is just in our lifetime. Palestine, just in the last year. And then they wonder, like, why are they so upset? What's wrong with them? No, it's a miracle that because this book is what keeps people, they just, the really intelligent and devout ones know we deserve a lot of this. As corrupt and as distant as we are from our tradition, much of this is purification. The Prophet said, جُعِلَ عَذَابُ أُمَّتِي فِي دُنْيَاهَا. The punishment of my ummah is in this world, it's not in the next world. And so that's part of it. And also there's so many things, but I'm convinced that the Muslims are far more peaceful than they're giving credit to our community. I'm serious. I genuinely believe that. Because we're one out of every probably 4 or 5 people. I mean, now they're admitting that the population numbers are grossly under-exaggerated. And the idea that we're the second largest religion. I mean, Europe, if they're calling that a Christian, Europe is Christian, they're empty. The churches are empty. Mosques are full. All over the Muslim world, mosques are full. So this, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ. So reminding of our khalq. Because this surah is about Yawm al-Qiyamah. It's about that Allah is qadir. First of all, qadir, Allah is capable of sending a warner and a messenger. So we're not deists or theists that believe in an impersonal God. We actually believe that in a God who, out of benevolence, sends people to explain to us. Because everything that we make of any sophistication, when you buy it, you get the operating manual. Now, one of the interesting things about human beings, nobody reads operating manuals. And then they get frustrated and especially men. Women are better at that than men are. But nobody reads operating manuals. You get a new car and there's a book, they give you a book. And then you just try to figure it out on your own, pushing buttons and see which one turns this on or that on. This is a human condition. So Allah sent an operating manual, which are these books of Revelation, to tell us about this incredibly complicated creature. How you work. You have reason, you have emotion, you have appetites. They need to be aligned. They need to be ordered. And here's how you do it. One of the ways is fasting. To learn to control your appetites. Another is swallowing your anger. وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ, to learn to control your emotions so that you don't blow up. Literally and figuratively. Because some people now literally blow themselves up. They're so angry. So, and then how to operate this. How to make this function properly. So we have a whole understanding that comes with it. So the khalq of the insan is very important. And then that Allah knows the innermost soul of that human being. And then if you look again, the consistency of throughout the Quran, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He gives the 7 stages of our creation, right? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ سُلَالَةٍ مِنْ طِينٍ, first stage. So our essential nature is mud and earth. Like if you look at the things that we are composed of, it's mud and earth. It's mud, but it's literally water and earth. Those are the 2 components of the planet. And so we have in us, we have calcium, we have potassium, we have these minerals, and then we have this amazing skeletal system and the muscles, the brain, all these things. And then ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَاهُ نُطْفَةٍ فِي قَرَارٍ مَكِينٍ. And then we put the human being as a nutfa, and the nutfa is the zygote, right? فِي قَرَارٍ مَكِينٍ. This is the alaq, which is translated, and I genuinely believe it's mistranslated as clot of blood. It doesn't mean clot of blood. The alaq is a clinging thing. It's anything يَتَعَلَّقُ بِشَيء. So when the zygote comes down into the womb, يَتَعَلَّق, it embeds itself into the womb of the woman. So it literally يَتَعَلَّق, and it's a perfect description of what it does. And this is all microscopic. You can't see this. We only know these things now. So the Quran is very accurate. And even Keith Moore, the embryologist, admitted that the Quran is really the first accurate picture of embryonic stages. And there was no access to this at the Prophet ﷺ's time. They believed in the homunculus, that there was a miniature human that just grew. This was a common belief, different views. So ثُمَّ خَلَقْنَا النُّطْفَةَ عَلَقَةً. So that's the alaq comes alaqa. It just clings to it embeds itself. ثُمَّ خَلَقْنَا الْعَلَقَةَ مُضْغَةً. And then it looks like a mudgha is a chewed lump of flesh. And if you look at it at this stage, and this all occurs in the first 40 days, that hadith was clearly misunderstood and anybody who knows modern embryology knows. And there was a khilaf about the hadith, because there was an opinion that all happened in the first 40 days, even though it says thumma, thumma, thumma. But it's not 120 days, because it's way beyond that. Even by 42 days, you already have the fetus is developed, the beginning of the fetus, the embryo. And then فَخَلَقْنَا الْمُضْغَةَ, then the mudgha becomes عِظَامًا. And then look at the switch. فَكَسَوْنَا الْعِظَامَ لَحْمًا. The only time in this process, Allah changes from khalaqna to kasawna. And Raghib Isfahani said, if you look at the difference between all those previous stages, they're stages of khalq, but the lahm, the flesh, is a clothing, because the thing about clothes, you can replace them. You can't replace bone. You actually have to implant bone from somewhere else. But lahm will grow back. So he says, kasawna al-'idhama lahma is an appropriate, because it's the kiswa. It's like because you can lose a piece and it grows back. Just like the cloth, you can replace the cloth like that. And then ثُمَّ أَنشَأْنَاهُ خَلْقًا آخَرَ. And this is the insha of the khalq akhar, is a new creation. And this is the rational human being, the human being that has aql, which is different from all the other creatures. They have a type of intelligence, but not the intelligence that we've been given. That this is the intelligence that we've been given. It's a ثم أنشأناه خلقا آخر فتبارك الله أحسن الخالقين. Glory or blessed is God, the best of creators, the best of creators. Ahsan, it's the best. It's the one done with the ihsan. ثم إنكم بعد ذلك لميتون. And then after that you will die. Like He's created us to die. So we have to go through this next stage. And like Maulana says, I was mineral, and then I died and became vegetable, and then I died as vegetable and became animal, and then I died as animal and became human, and I will die as a human and become an angel. What have I ever lost by dying? It just gets better. I mean, somebody told me today that Sidi Abdullah Schleifer, I don't know if people who know him, but he was a Jewish convert to Islam. He's a very interesting man. I met him several times at different places, but he just died on the 27th night, right? So actually, he died in Turkey, but he had been a beat. He was a beat in New York. The Beats. People don't know the Beats. They're too young now. But the Beat. They were before me also. I'm old, but I'm not that old. So the Beats became the hippies, right? But that was the next iteration. And then he had a deep sense of justice, which many righteous, the real Jews do. You know, they have that sense. That's why so many have been out protesting about what's happening. But he had a deep sense. So he went and joined Fidel Castro and fought with in Cuba. And he said he was an atheist. And so when they won there, he said, okay, where next? And he said, Palestine. So he went and joined the PLO. This is a true story. And then he actually became Muslim with the Palestinians, because not all of them were Marxists. There were, but he actually ended up becoming a Muslim. And one of the things he told me, he said they were much more ethical than these so-called Islamists today, just in terms of what they would do.